1978's Dawn of the Dead inspired many admirers and imitators, to say the least, and this was one of them. So whether they were direct imitators like Vincent Dawn's Night of the Zombies, or seemingly just occupied the same apocalyptic zombie universe, like this particular example, there were a lot of them out there in those early years of the 80s and the late 70s. So it's a film of many titles. It was called Zombie Flesh Eaters here in Australia. It was called Zombie Elsewhere, or Zombie 2 in Europe. But I always fondly think of this one as Zombie Flesh Eaters because I am Australian. And the premise of this movie is that an unmanned yacht has drifted into the waters off Manhattan, and a couple of officers from the Harbour Patrol are sent to investigate. And who should be aboard but a zombie? A very unique looking zombie, not a voodoo zombie or even a George Romero zombie. This, my friends, is an Italian zombie, and to be more particular, more precise, it's a Lucio Fulci zombie. So it's a zombie that looks uncannily like King Kong Bundy or Grossberger out of Stir Crazy, The Wanderers and The Running Man. And thus our sweaty and humid Caribbean adventure begins as we learn that the yacht belonged to a guy who was living on the remote island of Mattu, the remote Caribbean island of Mattu. His daughter Anne is played by Mia Farrow's sister, believe it or not, Tisa Farrow. No, really, she is actually played by Mia Farrow's sister. And Tisa Farrow decides to team up with Ian McCulloch, who was in the great English apocalyptic pandemic series Survivors. Some of you may remember him from. And they charter a yacht with an American couple played by Italian Zal Cliver, a.k.a. Pierluigi Conti, and Oretta Gay. So following an amazing underwater zombie shark encounter that truly is one of the most remarkable scenes in the history of cinema, they arrive in Mattu only to find out that the island is stricken by a plague of the undead. And the rest of the movie slowly builds towards being an Assault on Precinct 13 meets Night of the Living Dead sort of affair. Zombie Flesh Eaters is often unfairly accused of ripping off Dawn of the Dead, but that really is a little unfair in my opinion. It really is more inspired by George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. So if it's ripped off anything, it has ripped off Night of the Living Dead. And it does have enough of its own original flair to be its own shambling beast. This movie is, in one word, great. So it oozes atmosphere, everything's humid and sweaty and dusty, and the sweat and grime and humidity and maggots virtually ooze off the screen with this one. It's quite unsettling indeed. And the palpable feel of this entire movie is just what makes it. It makes it such a classic and so memorable in the annals of Italian horror. And the shock ending where everything comes full circle really is the cherry on top. So the synthesizer score for this one is really hypnotic, to say the least. It really sets the mood for Zombie Flesh Eaters and helps set a kind of methodical pace of dread that just builds up to a crescendo. And the zombies themselves also look great. Director Lucio Fulci actually describes them as walking flower pots because they were daubed with a lot of clay by the look of it. And there's a lot of social commentary here, quite subtle social commentary, I guess, about colonialism and the local resentment buried not too deep beneath the surface most of the time in these ex-colonies. And this would make a great double bill with Zombie Island Massacre, purely so you can see one Caribbean zombie movie done really well and another Caribbean zombie movie done not so well. And something nice to enjoy with this one might be a nice bowl of black Haitian mushroom rice and a nice bottle of island rum. So that, my friends, is Lucio Fulci's Zombie Flesh Eaters from 1979.